The successes of Donald Trump seem to be compounding, and it's become very apparent that the left has no game plan to stop him. I mean, after all, in order to try to combat what he's doing, you have to say, please, open up the borders. Please, do not arrest the criminal illegal aliens, and please, do not look into wasteful government spending, which honestly is exactly what the left is doing, which is why they are losing the argument. But what's interesting is, not only is the left melting down about all of this, but now, of course, the RINOs are coming out and having their meltdowns. So, of course, before we get to these clips, don't forget to like and comment on this video so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
Ali Mistal had this to say in The Nation. The courts will not save us. They will not be the backstop protecting us from the Trump-Musk takeover. And any person who tells you otherwise, especially if that person is an elected Democrat in Congress, is selling you an excuse for inaction and complacency. Trump and Musk are barbarians at the gate. Calling in the lawyers to tell them they're trespassing isn't going to halt their advance.
I could not agree more. I just think fundamentally this requires something that I think each of us as individuals and institutions are going to have to reach deep down inside and pull out. At the end of the day, I love this visual of, the barbarians at the gate, but this is worse than barbarians.
You would really like the beginning of this piece where Ellie says that Democrats are like the varsity chess team being told it's their time to start the football game.
That's Lord, accurate.
So accurate.
What? But Michael.
Yes.
What are what would you have us do?
I would actually, you know what? I'd just like you to show that you give a damn. That you got a little emotion about the fact that people are losing their jobs indiscriminately. Mm-hmm. That this individual sitting down at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue has given absolute power to one man who brings his son into the Oval Office, whose son says to him, "You're not the president. You shouldn't be in that chair." Now, where did he get that from? He got it from his daddy, because that's what his daddy thinks of the man who brought him into the Oval Office. So I just like to see somebody wake the hell up and get excited about the fact that your country is under assault. They're not at the gate anymore. They're in your bedrooms. They're in your living rooms. They're in your businesses. They got your data, dumbass. They got all your stuff. Elon Musk has his tentacles in everything you're doing, not just off of X, but now he's in the Treasury Department. He's in the Labor Department. He's in the Department of Homeland Security. And nobody seems to give a damn. So that's all I want, somebody to show that they care enough to get off their fat ass and say something about it.
But let's be honest, they're going to have to be Republicans who then ultimately.
Oh, the hell with Republicans. They're not going to do anything. They're the problem.
But from a numbers perspective, my point is, if you actually want any real accountability, it's like you've seen. We had Jamie Raskin on last weekend. He's talking about sort of this novel legal theory, and he was asked, "Are you willing to bring articles of impeachment yet again to President Trump?" And he said, "You find me 2 or 3 Republicans, and then we actually have a conversation." But
well, that's a ballot box thing. So what's the strategy to get those people who are strip mining our federal bureaucracy, who are stripping away your rights? How do they keep their seats?
It hasn't even been a month.
Thank you.
So we are supposed to wait until the midterm elections. I'm not
saying wait till the midterm elections.
Well, I guess what I am saying is, and I know they told me I got 30 seconds, but like I used to not be one of those people that were like, people are like, "Oh, we're not going to have elections in 4 years." I'm like, y'all got to chill out. I am thoroughly concerned about how we survive.
So that's Michael Steele, the former head of the RNC. And you wonder, how did all of these Republicans really abandon their principles? Well, this is how, right? They bow down to Washington, D.C. They bow down to the establishment. And at the very end there, you actually hear Michael Steele lament that, oh, they're cutting the federal bureaucracy. As if that's a bad thing, okay? Getting rid of waste and spending and corruption and jobs for people that don't do anything except for make arbitrary rules that were not passed lawfully, by the way. And Michael Steele's upset that Elon Musk is coming in and looking at all this information. Oh, but he's got your information. Well, guess what? So does Facebook, so does TikTok, and so does every branch of our federal government, all right? But you're not concerned about them. It's only Elon Musk you're worried about. I mean, holy crap, how out of touch do you have to be? This is what the American people people voted for. Donald Trump made no secret that he wanted Elon Musk to come out and head up the DOGE department and investigate wasteful spending, fraud, abuse, etc. in the federal government. So people knew this well in advance before they cast their votes. And I would say that's why a lot of independents, former Democrats, also cast their vote for Donald Trump, right? Between Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr., right? All of those were reasons why people flipped over to the Republicans. And anytime a Republican comes out and actually vouches for bloat in our federal system, you know they were never a Republican to begin with, right? Donald Trump has pulled the mask off all of these people who are basically just grifters trying to get money by selling their books and doing their TV appearances and trying to influence the Republican Party in the wrong directions. And thank goodness all of this is happening because it has completely exposed the TDS, not only of the deranged left, but also of those milquetoast neocon Republicans. But of course, the other problem is Donald Trump is still incredibly popular, which is why the left is having such a hard time combating anything he's doing.
More broadly, we're in 4 weeks in this second Trump administration. What of all of that we've seen play out over these 4 weeks most concerns you?
Well, Donald Trump and Republicans consistently promised that they were going to lower the high cost of living, and they've done the exact opposite. They've shown no interest in lowering costs in the United States of America, which are too high. Housing costs are too high. Grocery costs are too high. Child care costs are too high. Utility costs are too high. The cost of living is too high in the United States of America. This country is too expensive, but they've broken their promise. They have no interest in improving the quality of life of hardworking American taxpayers. Instead, what they're trying to do, while they distract the American people, is to jam the GOP tax scam down the throats of people all across this country, all in service of massive tax cuts for their billionaire donors and wealthy corporations. It's a toxic bait and switch that is underway, and we will continue to push back forcefully.
But Donald Trump's favorability rating is actually higher than it ever was the first time around. Let me ask you, a recent poll by Marquette looked at several of the things that he has done or says that he is going to do, and 63% favor federal government's recognition of only 2 sexes, 60% favor deporting immigrants who entered the United States illegally, 60% favor expanding oil and gas production, 59% favor declaring an emergency at the southern border. Is there anything you are seeing that Trump is doing that you are in favor of, that you think is the right thing?
Let me say, as it relates to all of those issues, we're just at the beginning. And the core promise that Donald Trump made is that he's going to lower costs for everyday Americans. In fact, we were told that grocery prices would go down on day one, on January 20th. Costs aren't lower. In fact, costs are increasing. The price of eggs is skyrocketing out of control. Inflation is on the way up. That was the core promise that's been broken.
So that, of course, is House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. And when confronted with the simple truth that what Donald Trump is doing is popular, and he himself is actually popular, what does Hakeem say? We got to change the subject. Inflation, prices are still too high. They're out of control. Yeah, we got to give Donald Trump a little bit of grace there, right? It's going to take longer than a month to go ahead and start to tackle that issue, okay? It's taken 4 years of rampant, out of control inflation to get to where we are, okay? Now, of course, that doesn't mean Donald Trump will have unlimited time. And honestly, this is something that could really hurt him if it's not addressed eventually. I think he's got about 6 months of the good graces of the American people to really enact a plan that will bring down prices and inflation. And of course, how do you do that? Super easy. Stop printing new money. Don't explode the deficit. Drill more oil and power. And of course, overproduce on food and goods. If we do all of that by offering tax incentives and of course, allowing new businesses to start up, then we will see costs cut dramatically, okay? But yes, Hakeem Jeffries is right in that regard. Prices are too high, but Biden wasn't going to fix it. Kamala Harris wasn't going to fix it. Donald Trump has that ability, as he proved in his first term. But of course, that means the Democrats have to completely ignore the popularity that Donald Trump has and the good things he's actually doing right now in his first month. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay safe out there, people, because they're coming after you.